So today I'll be talking a little bit about scientific diving. We're going to stay in this little dive environment for a little while. So when I first came out of high school, fresh and young and untroubled, I went traveling in Australia and I took a scuba certificate. And that first trip underwater was kind of all it took for me to realize that I needed to be in ocean science. I even wrote in my diary back then, this is an amazing experience, maybe I should just go home, get a bachelor's in biology, and become an ocean scientist. So here I am, 8 years later, I have a bachelor's in biology, I'm in grad school, I study ocean science, and I'm diving for a living. But what is scientific diving, and what are we doing? We're collecting data, because we're all, probably more or less all of us here are scientists in some way, and we need data to back up our hypothesis or our analysis or whatever we do, and we collect that. For some of us, we collect it by diving. But this is not all problem-free, right? Because when you're diving, you're in a completely different environment. You're at least 20 feet underwater, and the pressure and the differences in that environment can be pretty extreme. So how far are we willing to go to get our data? How far should we go? And what determines how far we are able to push ourselves and get this data? So for those of you who are not divers, I will go through a really quick 101 on a diver. Here you see a happy diver in Monterey Bay Aquarium. That is me, by the way. The first thing you obviously should know, you have an air tank, because we're underwater and we need oxygen. So you have your oxygen in a pressurized tank on your back. That goes into your regulator, which you use to breathe through so you get your oxygen. You will also have what we call an octopus, which is a secondary regulator, so if our buddy, we always dive in buddy teams, needs to share air, we can give them our extra air supply. Then we have a pressure gauge, which monitors our oxygen so we know how long we have underwater. Because obviously at some point we need to get up. Then you can have stuff like a dive slate and obviously the big OK. And just because, you know, I know that there aren't all divers here, I actually brought my own gear to show you guys what it looks like. So, WBC, bring all my gear. This is a scientific diver. Having fun. So you have here your regulators. Again, this is my regulator. This is my octopus. This is for my buddy. This is my pressure gauge. And here's some of all my equipment that I can bring. I have meter tape. I have a dive slate which always carries very important information. And I have something like this, which is a quadrate, which is a 1 by 1 square, 1 by 1 meter square, which we can throw out on the bottom, and then we count whatever is in the square. It's a biological tool to analyze or count data underwater. So most of my scientific diving I've been doing in California, down in my field site in Carlsbad. And most of you, when you say diving in California, think of something like this. Beautiful kelp forest, lots of nice fish, rocks, and all these organisms. But it can also look something like this, which is, in comparison, pretty boring. But it's still a field site. It's still where I do a lot of my work. What we do at this site, I'm looking at anthropogenic impact and pollution in a local coastal area. So we're collecting water, sediment, and we're doing biological surveys to figure out what is going on in this site and what is that compared to other sites that are not as polluted. So I've been down 3 times. I've been dive leader 3 times on our field work. And the first time we went, it looked something like this. This is my buddy who is now using his quadrate to count organisms. And you can see it's pretty nice. The visibility is pretty good. My diver can actually see the bottom, and he's looking pretty stable in the water. Things are looking pretty good for us. Last time we went in November, it looked like this. And for those of you who might not be able to see, I don't know if this has a pointer on it. This is my diver. This is my buddy. She's less than a meter from me. And she's counting this, whatever that might be. And to remind you, in November, California was hit with something between 20 and 30 feet swell. The week we were down in Carlsbad, Scripps Pier had waves hitting that was 20 feet. So it was not ideal diving conditions, but I had been planning this for months and months and months, and a lot of people are involved, so you can't just cancel because of a little wave. So we still go into the water and, you know, dive down. You can't see see each other, but we're trying our best. We throw out our quadrates and we start to count all the organisms, and there can be up to 100 things in a quadrate, so you kind of count it fast, like. And then because we're so shallow, you can feel the waves when they come to you. So you're like sitting there and you're counting frantically, and you can feel the waves like start to pull you, and you're like, oh shit. You haven't counted your quadrant yet. And because of this visibility, we have to stay together. So all you can really do is grab a hold of your quadrant, and grab a hold of your buddy, and then the wave hits you, and you moved. And you move back. And then you're like, oh well, we'll toss this out again, and start counting again. Because now this time it's new, right? You have no idea if you're at the same spot. So you throw it out and you just count. And you hopefully this time you will get it before the next big wave hits you and move here again. If you're lucky enough to get it, you'll then use your magical slate and write down your data on it, and hopefully be able to get something back up on the ground. Another scientific diving experience I've had was one of my first, was in a whole other setting and much more tropical. I was lucky enough to go to Cuba and dive in Jardin de la Reine, and that was just as spoiled as it sounds like. I was tagging along as a volunteer diver, and we were counting substrates of the reefs. So again, we were testing health of coral reefs. So we were counting the substrates on one reef that is then compared to substrates in another reef to see how different reefs at different locations do, and that can be correlated to some kind of pollution. So on one of our normal dives, we would use a meter tape, and we would throw out the meter tape and we would count for every centimeter what was on the bottom. Is it corals? Is it stones? Is it algae? What is in this area? So on a regular day, you go out in your boat with all your divers and you jump in the water and you try to ignore whatever else is in the water. Because again, you're working. You have to just jump in the water and do your work. You don't just like bounce off to Cuba to do work. This was planned for like a year in advance. So you go in the water. On this particular dive, we were down to 60 feet, a little more than 60 feet. So decently deep. For those of you who are European and scientists, that corresponds to approximately 20 meters. So we're there in the water, and we're throwing out our meter tape, which is 20 meters long. You throw it out, throw it out, throw it out, and you count for every centimeter what you find, heel it back in, check your gauge, swim to another location, reel out the tape, count all your organisms, reel it back in, check your gauge, swim to another place, you reel it out, count your organisms, and so on and so forth. And I will mention again, we're on field work. We've planned this for a long time. You kind of push a little more. You only have the time that you have in the water. So you want to get as much data as possible out of the water. So we're doing our transects, and we're doing our transects, and we're like doing a final one, and I'm like checking my gauge. I'm like, fuck. Because I'm underwater somehow. Because I'm only at 500 psi at this point. Which of those of you who are divers know at 500 psi, we should be on surface. That is our minimum requirement for safety, and to be on surface, you have 500 psi, you're okay on the surface, and you're done with your dive. At this point, I'm at 60 feet, and I have 500 psi. So this is not good. So I look at my buddy, and I'm like, buddy, my air's at 500, let's turn around, go up, and do a 3-minute safety stop. And he checked his gauges on his computer, and he's okay, turn around. So we swim through, and again, I'm at 60 feet. You can't just go straight up to the surface, because 60 feet, you have 3 times the atmospheric pressure as you do on the surface. So for safety and to get up to the surface in a decent manner, you have to spend some time on it. So going from 60 feet to the surface, you should spend at least 2 minutes just slowly ascending. And our 3-minute safety stop is down at 15 feet, where we just slowly acclimate to the pressure differences. So at this point, I am looking at 5 minutes before I'm actually on the surface with my 500 psi. So we're swimming and we're going up, and I'm like checking my gauge. I'm like, okay, 300, we can do this. We're swimming up and we're swimming up. And we're at a 3-minute safety stop. I'm like, finally, we're here. Okay, we're so close, right? We're 15 feet. It's like, we're so close, we can see the surface, right? And we're just hovering around, and we're like enjoying the view, which was pretty good. Like my gauge starts to feel a little funny. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, I check my gauge. I'm like, I'm out of air. I'm at 0. I am out of air, and I'm still underwater, and we still have at least 2 minutes left on our safety stop. I'm like, okay. Luckily, I've had a lot of really good training. I don't just bounce up doing skydiving. So I turn to my buddy, and I'm like, which is, I am out of air, let's buddy breathe. And my buddy's like, yeah, he's checking his gauge, he's like hovering, going to view. And I'm like, dude, I'm out of air, let's buddy breathe. And he's like, one more minute, going to view and hovering. And this you have to remind, like, you don't usually run out of air. That's not something that really happens. And especially, like, we're so close to being done. He just didn't think that I was really being serious, that I was out of air. So I'm going once more, I'm like, buddy, I'm out of air. Like, buddy breathe, help me. And not until I actually reach out and grabs his secondary regulator does he realize, oh shit, she's out of air. And at that point, of course, because we both have good training, we link in our buddy hold, so I can get his regulator and he has his own. And for the last minute of our dive, we're buddy breathing through his oxygen, and after 1 minute, we both surface, we have our data, and luckily we have ourselves conditions, and managed to go through with a dive really nice and almost problem-free. So what is my point of all of this? Like, we do go pretty far to get science, but how is that possible? Like, why could I do the things I did, and should I have done those things? Obviously, I should not have been in that position of running out of air on a dive. That is unacceptable. But how did I pull through that, and why am I still diving? Because I've had really, really good training. And because I know I can push these limits, I know what to do in these situations, and I know how to pull through it. And also because you have an amazing crew behind you when you do diving, when you do fieldwork like this. I could never have done any of my own fieldwork in Carlsbad without my entire crew on land helping me out of the water, helping me into the water, and my buddies helping me in and out of the water. The same thing in Cuba, we had an amazing crew helping us both in water and on land that makes this possible and makes us push these limits so we can safely both monitor situations and make decisions about them, but also push that and get that extra data and get that extra little thing that might make the project a whole worth it. So with these words, I will just say thank you and always dive safely. I'm happy to take any questions both on diving, skydiving, and my projects, both here and after. So thank you.
Great talk, thank you. I'm a skydiver as well, but kind of more on the formal side, or former side. And part of my experience was that there was always something that I was losing. And so I'm just curious if you have that one thing. For me, it was unfortunately my fins. There were multiple times I got to the beach without fins. And so I was wondering if you have that one thing that you always see the beach.
I go over my gear like 7 billion times, but I always forget more of the scientific equipment. Mm-hmm. So the field, when I've done field collection, we collect, for example, water, and that has to be filtered when we come out of the water. So I'll always have forgotten something for that, but not as much as my gear, because I have my whole little sequence of like remembering all my gear. But there's always something you forget, or you drop it on the dive. We've had a lot of drops on our dives, and it's in like really murky conditions like that. It's lost. I lost a few masks in Carlsbad. One of my divers lost his computer, but we had a really good boat captain who were able to like do a GPS point right away, so we actually did a successful search and rescue. I don't know how many divers here actually done a successful rescue. It was not just practicing in a pool, but we actually managed to find his dive computer. So yeah.